Today we're going to do an episode 8 tier list. We're going to try and make it as fast as possible, but we've got map changes, we've got map rotations, we've got agent changes, we've got a new gun in the game which might impact how good some of these agents are as well, and so let's dive into it. Our first agent here is Breach, who is having a terrible time. This is a terrible time to be a Breach main, because we've lost Haven, and we've added Icebox. It could not be any worse for Breach, right? An absolutely awful time. There's no Haven, no Fracture in here, so really, I'm going to put Breach in the C tier, because this is not a good time to be playing Breach. Next up is Brimstone, who, of course, is good on Bind. Fracture is in the pool. That's a shame for Brim. Other than that, he's a decent pick in Ranked, but again, he has to go into the C tier. Our next agent, though, is Cypher, who I think is really quite good right now. And I think in Ranked, particularly, play Cypher right now. The map pool kind of suits him as well. We lost Haven, we brought in Icebox, doesn't really matter for Cypher anyway, but in the rest of the map pool, we got Ascent, where I think he's a decent pick. Bind, I actually think Cypher will now be the de facto 5th pick and become meta on that map. We got Breeze, where of course he's going to see a lot of play. Icebox, sure, whatever. Lotus, I think he got better on with the changes as well, so keep that in mind. We got Split, of course, Cypher map, Sunset, Cypher map. This is a good time to be a Cypher main, and so I'm going to put Cypher in the A tier. Okay, next up we got Jet, and of course, depending on how good the Outlaw is, Jet might become even better, of course, but the map pool right now, I would say it's kind of 4-3 in favor of Raze rather than Jet, right? Jet has Ascent, Breeze, Icebox, but the other maps, Bind, Lotus, Split, Sunset, are more Raze maps than Jet maps, so it's maybe not the best time to be playing Jet. Of course, she's still very good in Ranked, and the Outlaw could make her very good as well, so she's going to go in the A tier. Our next agent is Omen, and here's the thing. There are changes that they've made that were not in the patch notes, right? The Breeze door is now open when it wasn't, and that wasn't in the patch notes. And I think, and I haven't confirmed this, I think the Omen flash is faster than it used to be. Now, I might just be going crazy, but I think that it is. Let me know in the comments if I'm going crazy, or test it out yourself, but I think it is. But Omen, of course, right now, even though he lost Haven and Icebox isn't maybe the best Omen map, he's still going in the S tier because he's very good. But now Phoenix, I mean, this one shouldn't take too long. I'm sorry, Phoenix, but you still have to go in the D tier. He's not that bad in Ranked, but, I mean, come on. However, Raze is going straight to the S tier. As I kind of said, it's kind of a 4-3 Raze map, and I actually think she got better on Lotus, to be honest. So, yeah, Raze is doing absolutely fine right now. Play a lot of Raze. Okay, our next agent is Sage, and here's the thing about Sage. I actually used to be a big Sage doubter on Icebox. I used to hate when people played Sage on Icebox. I actually think with some of the changes, Sage got better on that map. Because the wall that you can do on B now, I actually think is quite good. You know, like the first part of B, you know, as the defenders walling that off, there isn't really many ways to defend that space now. But Sage walling it is one. And that might be quite good. Also, walling Tube used to be, in my opinion, kind of trolling. Because the lurk could still just come late anyway, and the wall would just disappear. And, you know, that would be that. But now, Sage walling Tube actually could be more valuable because it became a more valuable of the, you know, part of the map to actually try and explore and fight over. So I actually think Sage got a bit better on that map. And so normally I just auto put Sage in the D tier, but now I'm going to put Sage in the C tier. Okay, Sova. Sova's in a pretty good place right now. I think he's seeing play on quite a few maps. You lost Haven, you added Icebox. Don't think that will affect Sova too much. In fact, he might even see more play, to be honest, on Icebox than he won on Haven. So I'm going to put him in the A tier. Okay, our next agent is Viper. And if I could make an S plus tier, I would. Because, of course, Viper has to go in the S tier. I was pointing this out the other day, but if they removed Ascent, like a lot of people, including myself, wanted them to, instead of Haven, you might have seen Viper's pick rate in pro play get up there with, like, the old Chamber and the old Jet for how high it would have been. And that is no joke. And if you go through the map pool, you can actually see that. If Ascent is gone, we have Bind, 100%, Breeze, 100%, Icebox, 100%. You got Lotus, pretty much 100%. Split, very, very high, above 50%. Sunset, probably around 50%. And Haven, around 50%. It really would have been an astronomically high number for Viper. Now, Ascent is still in the pool, so it won't be as high, but I do think that this map pool will lead to Viper's pick rate being high enough to where Viper gets a big nerf at some point before they change the maps again. Okay, next up is Reyna. I'm going to leave Reyna off the list because, of course, Reyna exists in that dichotomy of crazy and ranked, not so good in pro play. Dang would be better off without this agent existing. So I'm just going to leave her off the list. So we move to Killjoy instead. And here's the little thing about Killjoy that I think right now. Maybe this is a hot take. I don't even know. I'd be interested in people's thoughts on this as well. I think Cypher is better than Killjoy right now. I'd be interested to know what you think of that statement. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. But Killjoy, it's still good, right? I don't think she's bad, but I do think she got worse on Lotus. I think the change from Haven to Icebox shouldn't affect her too much overall, but I do think that Cypher right now and this map pool as a whole isn't maybe the best for Killjoy. So she's still going to go in the A tier, but she is going below Cypher. She'll go above Sova, but she's going below Cypher. When it comes to Skye, though, Skye is still doing absolutely fine. I do still think you'll see a ton of Skye across most of the maps. Losing Haven, adding Icebox, probably not Skye's best change. Of course, she did get the dog nerf a while back, but she's still going in the S tier, even if it is low S tier. Okay, our next agent is Yoru, and I know that a ton of you will be saying, please, DMV, just put him in the C tier, please, please, please. He's not going in the C tier, he's going in the D tier. He'll go at the top of the D tier, because I do think he has potential, and, you know, he has room to be good, but it's still going to be the D tier for him. For Astra, though, it's not a great time to be playing Astra. I feel like Astra is very much an Omen Shadow. Kind of wish that they would bring back the old Gravwell, if I'm being honest with you. You know, I think that honestly would be a perfectly fine change. But Astra right now, not in the best spot. I'm going to put her in the C tier. Okay, I've done 14 agents thus far, and somehow none have ended up in the B tier, but I think we finally found our first B tier agent, and that's KO, because KO luckily still has Ascent. If they did rotate Ascent instead of Haven, he'd be coming down to the C tier, but they do still have Ascent, so he's going in the B tier. Okay, our next agent is a very interesting one, because however good you think the Outlaw is will probably determine where you're going to put Chamber. I think that the Outlaw is a good to very good gun. Not necessarily broken, but, you know, a good gun that you should pick, you know, a decent amount of time, and maybe quite a lot of the time if you're playing Chamber. I also think that Chamber got better on Lotus, and I think that Chamber can be good on Lotus now. And he might actually see more play than Killjoy on that map, and in which case I might need to knock Killjoy down even more. But for all of that, I'm going to put Chamber in the B tier, because I think he is a pretty viable option right now. Our next agent, Neon, on the other hand, is not so viable right now. I actually think Neon might be in a worse spot than Phoenix right now. And again, please fix the Duelist class. I mean, just look at this. Please, please fix this class. And we aren't even at the end of this Duelist mess either. But let's move on to Fade, who has kind of been in Sova's shadow for a little bit of a while now. She does have some maps where she might see some play, like Lotus and Sunset, but no maps where she's probably going to dominate necessarily. So for that, I'm going to put Fade into the kind of higher C tier. Now, next up, we have the agent that is picked the least in ranked across all agents. And if you did my quiz, you'll know that it's Harbor. But here's the thing. It's a good time to be playing Harbor. For those two of you who are watching this that do play a lot of Harbor, you've got Icebox and you got Breeze. That's two good Harbor maps right there, baby! So we're going to put Harbor in the B tier. Okay, next up is one of my favorite agents, who isn't maybe doing too well right now, but did get a big buff. It's Gecko, and I'm just not quite exactly sure where to put him. I think he's kind of next to Yoru. I'm going to put him at the bottom of the C tier. I think he's a little more viable than Yoru overall, but he has the same kind of problems of, you know, difficult to play and, you know, needing a lot of, like, expertise in the agent to make it sing. So, yeah, he's still going to be down here. Next up is the queen of the game right now, Deadlock, because of course with Deadlock's buff, she is now a playable agent. We basically added a new agent into the game with Deadlock and these buffs, because of course before she was just so bad. Right now, I think particularly in ranked, you can play Deadlock and you aren't trolling, which is, it's a wonderful feeling to have that, right? Is she still going to see a lot of play in pro play and stuff like that? That I'm not too sure about overall. I'm not really sure that's going to come to fruition, even though I came up with that cool Icebox comp with Sage and Deadlock, and maybe that could work, who knows? But it's still probably not going to happen a lot, so she's still going to go in the D tier. I'm going to put her up there, though, in the D tier. And then finally, we have ISO, who, I'm going to be honest, I feel like is a bit of a forgotten agent, especially considering he's the newest agent in the game. I haven't seen him a ton in my ranked games. Maybe you have, I don't know. But he just feels like very much in Reyna's shadow in ranked, and in pro play, you know, he doesn't have enough about him to make him a viable pick, you know, compared to some other agents, I think. So for ISO, I think it has to be in the D tier as well. I might even put him dead last. And so here is my overall tier list. Now, Reyna has been left off, of course, but other than that, here it all is. And yeah, I kind of like the look of it. Quite a balanced tier list overall. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.